Hi, if you want to see more, you can see episodes of Karen's Carrots on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Good evening, and welcome to Karen's Carrots. We're here again this evening to share information, to let you know what we're thinking. Of course, I'm Karen Henderson with EAs in the C suite. Yes, I'm that EA in the C suite. And I bring information, assessments, training, coaching to EAs who want to up level their performance in the C suite and to basically partner with their CEO and become that business strategic partner, which they really should be recognized as being. But at any rate, thanks for joining me this evening. Tonight, and I think it's because I ran across a couple of instances this week where customer service kind of smacked me in the face, I'll say. Customer service is very, very important to me, always has been. I think there is no reason not to treat your customer with the utmost respect, attention, aiming to please and to resolve issues. Now, of course, if I were to mention, I'll just mention some areas. Of course, when we think of customer service, we think of perhaps businesses that offer us services. Could be telephone, could be internet, cable. We also think of retail, um, calling offices for certain information. So let's just describe some of the ways we consider bad customer service. Okay, and that is when a customer doesn't feel their expectations are met. I run across a lot of those in retail, for instance. Um, People have expectations, those expectations for how a company should serve them. Now, sometimes, even though the posture is the customer is always right, we might have a sidebar about how right they were, but nonetheless, we are there to please, solve problems, and basically deliver the expectations that they have. A lack of empathy, bad customer service. If you're calling somewhere, for instance, and there are poor automated prompts, they take you, I like to say, through the valley and shadow of not reaching something or someone to resolve your problem. So that transference of multiple times, it is just, ugh. Um, Automated phone prompts that hurt more than they're helping. Okay. So, one of the solutions to that particular problem perhaps is AI or artificial intelligence, which um, prompts that actually lead to a solution that the customer feels, hear them, understands them, direct them to a solution in a reasonable length of time is a way um, of adjusting that, or a way of, I should say, of responding to it. Most customers, they want to help themselves in this process. So if you give them some information that allows them to move forward in solving their situation, that customer ends up being more pleased than ready to issue a complaint. By the way, did you know that 68% of millennial consumers, they have really high expectations for customer service today? Yes, and I think that's a good thing. I think there is absolutely no reason if a customer calls your place of business, if they walk into your establishment, there is no reason not to posture yourself that you are there to serve and you want to give them the best quality service possible. That just pleases me. I think that if that is not your philosophy, if that is not something that feels right to you, then customer service is something you want to stay away from. And then I like to qualify that because a lot of people think that it's the good customer service or the customer service period is the customer service representative. That's their responsibility, and that really is not the case. The customer service is really the company's or organization's responsibility. That should be something that exudes itself throughout the organization. So that's a big mistake. But nonetheless, 68% of millennial consumers, they have high expectations for customer service. In fact, more today than a year ago, according to this article in Inc. And they state as the millennials' economic influence grows, then it becomes even more critical to deliver the quality of customer service they expect. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they were having this rapid fire question answer period, and the person was asked, what company do they feel deliver the best customer service? And they said Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is often mentioned in this arena of good customer service. And one of the reasons is what we're saying here about what the millennial customer expect. And that is important ingredients of speed, convenience, and customization. Speed, convenience, and customization. And I tell you, I'm in the public. I have a business. I deal with customers. Um, Customer service, good customer service is something I pride myself on, is something I'm known for. And the truth of the matter is, it gives you a good feeling. Of course, you need to know what can resolve a problem, that is, where to direct a person if you need to do that, knowing they're going to get their problem solved and not just moving them from A to B to C. That will surely get you customer complaints and disgruntled customer. I want to say, yeah. So let's talk about some exceptional customer service. Okay, exceptional customer service is defined as unconditional commitment to giving the highest level product or service to every person, regardless of the circumstances. It doesn't matter if the customer is at fault for the issue. It doesn't matter if it's a once in a lifetime situation. When you're thinking about how to deliver exceptional customer service, remember this simple motto: do anything and everything within your power to resolve that situation. Now, okay, so I'm going to say this, and I know that not everyone can say this or even believe or feel this way, but do everything within your power, basically, to resolve that situation, anything and everything. And to me, that's rather simple because what you don't know precisely in terms of how to resolve an issue, you at least should know where to get that information, where to get an answer to resolve that customer's problem, situation, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter if the customer is at fault, and this is a big thing. It doesn't matter if the customer is at fault. Now, I want to tell you something. in my mind, no customer is that difficult where I am going to step outside my professionalism, or I am going to not put every effort into resolving their issue. I pride myself on that, and I certainly want to please that customer. Now, I recently had a customer who was very, very, very challenging, unpleasant, and the interaction was such that they didn't want me to resolve their problem, but they wanted to continue presenting the problem. And that really took a lot. I don't mind saying I still maintained my position. I maintained a posture of wanting to help, offering help, knowing situations that I suggested or that I took care of was a help, but it was as if they didn't want the help. So finally, after I resolved everything that I could, I actually walked away. I mean, it was really, really a challenging situation. And quite frankly, I shared with some of the people that I worked with that I was glad it was me because the situation was challenging enough that everyone may not have held on to their calm um, to see this thing through. At any rate, talking to some of my co-workers, I learned that they had had a similar interaction on that same level that day. Now, I thought, and this is why I'm talking about customer service tonight, because I thought to myself, okay, it's the time of season, it's the holiday, you don't know what people are going through, and sometimes their personal situations or what have you um, may have them in a certain state of mind. And it's just a time you really have to be sensitive. They may not have family around, or they may be going through a whole bunch of things, not being able to buy the gifts that they want, whatever. So it's a time that you really, really need to call on all of the best customer service behavior you can find. So, I mean, that's my position on that. I think that if you are not embracing that philosophy that the customer is always right and you will do everything you can, remembering the ingredients of speed, convenience, and customization to assist that customer, perhaps that is not an area that's good for your personality type or whatever. The thing about it is, you really need a whole heap of empathy. Okay. And we're going to see that more and more with the season, not only with the season, but with the way the world is changing. I mean, people's temperaments are, I mean, you hear this expression short fuse or whatever, but a, you can maintain your I'm here to serve. I'm going to give the best service I possibly can. The customer's always right. I want to please the customer. Okay. So, um, one last thing I wanted to share with you are, well, this list says these are the top 10 brands with the best customer service. So let's see if you agree. And thank you all for joining in tonight. Good evening. Good evening. How are you, Levon? Thanks so much for joining tonight. Um, so yes, this is a favorite subject of mine. It's a favorite area of mine because I think it's just so easy to be kind. And no, you don't have to know everything, but be willing to step outside yourself to to find the information, to locate the answer, and resolve the situation, so to speak. So, top 10 brands with the best customer service. Disney Cruise Line. Okay, so they give them scores. Disney Cruise Line score is 9.59 out of 10. C's Candies, I'm not familiar with that company. I wasn't sure if it said candies or candles. C's Candies. Their service score is 9.38 out of 10. Justice. Service score 9.24 out of 10. I think that's the children's clothing store. Maybe girls. I don't know if it's children or just girls. I'm not sure. And then there's Land's End, and their service score was 9.18 out of 10. Chick-fil-A scored 9.11 out of 10, and Publix is a supermarket chain, and I think they're predominantly in the South and Southern states, and their service score was 9.7 out of 10. How's that? What's your score? How about you entrepreneurs out there? Is that an area that you really focus on? Customer service? It applies to big businesses, small businesses, corporate, academia, you name it. Customer service is what builds our business. So the better you are at it, the better you can expect your business to be. So thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing Karen's carrots with me this evening. I wish you all a good evening. And if you have any questions, please email me. If you're around now and you have a comment about customer service, please put it in the chat. Also, for those of you who don't know, and why don't I just share let's see, my little commercial with you. I think you all know. For those who don't, how about get your guide to boost your emotional intelligence today? So, many of you may know I recently published a journal. I'm really pleased and proud of it. I used my birthday celebration for the entire month to promote my journal. I will be doing a workshop for a parents group for with my journal, and I'm also for this entire holiday season I would like to contribute journals to foster care institutions for children who are there. This is something we don't always think about, but lots of times children age out of foster care and they don't have a place to go per se. As a result, there's problems with housing. There may end up being problems with the law or what have you. And I felt that having a journal to have a conversation with themselves, to express their thoughts, to get things out that may in fact be a healing kind of exercise for them. I'd like to really do that. I have a whole list of cool agencies that I'd really like to share my journal with. If that interests you and you really like to make a contribution to this effort, please inbox me or send me an email. I appreciate your support. I welcome your support. And I think this is a community that really deserves some attention and can be helped just simply by knowing others care. Okay, so thank you again for joining me this evening. Um, oh, great. It's on its way. You should have it soon. Someone is really excited, Lavon, of getting her journal. If it's not in the mail in the next day or so, please let me know. And I thank you once again. Good having you here. And it's so long until next week. There may be an adjustment in the schedule for next week, but we'll see. Okay? I thank you all. Be safe. And remember, customer service is something you can take with you everywhere. Thanks again. Good night.